Hey everybody, I'm Max Burrage and I've sold multiple lakefront homes on Lake Sammamish over the last year, and I'd love to share with you what I've learned about these properties. Here in Northwest Washington, we have multiple options for lakefront living. Lake Whatcom is the largest lake in Whatcom County, spanning approximately 5,000 acres. The northern basin is the most populated, and part of it is located within city limits. It's the source of drinking water for approximately half of the county, and a popular spot for summer recreation. In recent years, waterfront sales made up between 2.5% and 6% of all single-family home sales in Bellingham. Lake Sammamish is located about 6 miles south of Bellingham in the Chuckanut Mountains. This lake is about 16% the size of Lake Whatcom. Fewer than a dozen homes sell on this lake each year. Some years, it could be as few as 2 to 4. A unique thing about Lake Sammamish is that you can drive all the way around the lake. So for folks looking at the west side of the lake, you can approach that from the north or south end, and depending on where you're located, it's about the same drive time. There are also 3 smaller lakes surrounded by residential homes. Toad Lake is perched above Lake Whatcom at about 700 feet above sea level. The lake is just 29 acres and mostly surrounded by trees. This lake is stocked with rainbow trout as well as kokanee and largemouth bass. Toad Lake has a boat launch located at the west end of the lake. Speaking of boats, this is a no-wake zone, and non-electric motors are not allowed on this lake. Cane Lake is a small secluded lake south of Lake Whatcom in the Glen Haven area. This is also a non-wake zone, and non-electric motors are not allowed. There is a gravel boat launch located at the south end of the lake. Lastly, Weiser Lake. Fun fact, on Weiser Lake, you can only water ski in a counterclockwise direction. Weiser Lake is closed to motorized vehicles from October 15th through March 1st. There is a boat launch located on the north side of the lake where the bridge and Guide Meridian intersect. Let's move on down to Skagit County. Big Lake is 536 acres, and the area around it is home to nearly 1,800 people. It's a prime spot for enjoying a cruise or water skiing. Just keep it under the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. There is a concrete boat launch located on the west side. Don't miss out on Lake Kavanaugh. It's an 833-acre deep water lake with a gravel boat launch at the south end. It's part of a secluded community about 40 minutes from Mount Vernon. The lakefront lifestyle is attractive to many different people. As your broker, I want to get to know what's most important to you. If you'd like close proximity to town, you'll be competing for homes on the north end of Lake Whatcom or the west side of Big Lake. If the specific lake you're looking for is nestled within the foothills, you'll have more limited afternoon and evening sunshine on the west sides. There are some boating restrictions and rules that vary by lake. Also, consider which facilities are nearby for the winterizing of your boat, since many lots are tight in terms of parking and storage. These are all things that we will discuss as we narrow down your search, so that you are informed of the best options for your needs. Many properties along our lakes have existing docks. They could be stationary docks, floating docks, or also boat lifts. Most often on my listings, I've seen a portion of stationary dock that leads out into the water a ways, and then a floating portion which allows for the dock to rise and fall with the water throughout the year. Major repairs or new construction are often difficult to achieve in our area. They require environmental review permits from the governing planning department to ensure compliance with the Shoreline Management Act along with city and county code. Also, the permit process uses the outline of old dock documentation, and the docks surrounding your property determine what is currently allowed. I could recommend local dock builders or land use consultants so that my clients fully understand the ramifications of a desired project ahead of making an offer or closing on a property. Lakefront property tends to be very desirable, and with that often comes a smaller lot. One specific consideration when shopping for a home around the lake is parking. Around the lakes, oftentimes you'll find older homes that have been updated, and on smaller lots, oftentimes with that comes street side parking for 1 to 2 vehicles, and typically not with a driveway. Let's talk about water and living in a watershed. Homeowners around any body of water should read up on what's involved in living in a watershed. There are zoning restrictions around tree removal, new permits, and construction. Because of these building restrictions, buyer due diligence becomes that much more important. The City of Bellingham has an extensive residence guide that summarizes Lake Whatcom's watershed regulations, along with recommendations for homeowners to steward their property responsibly. Over the homes that I've closed on Lake Sammamish, most, if not all, have pulled water directly from the lake. Buyers should be aware that different homes have different filtration systems, and some of my clients have even chosen to have their drinking and cooking water delivered from a local drinking water company. Something I've really enjoyed about the lakefront properties is seeing the different buyers that are attracted to the different properties on different lakes and the reasons that attract them to those specific properties. You could be looking for a water skiing lake or a beautiful water view right outside of your window. The reasons could vary, but the draw is the same and it ends with lakes. So with all of these different options between Whatcom and Skagit County, there's a lot to consider. If you'd like to narrow it down further, I would be happy to be your resource and share any information, answer questions about these lakes, and get out there and see them with you.